I'm feeling the vibe, man. Walasi is our guest artist right here on the show today, and that's why we've set up the band all for him with a Sinku band.
Yeah,
they're all dressed in black.
In recent days, Selassie's been talking about how he's found himself. He can now run, he can walk, he can run, he can face the world. So this is Walasi facing the world, and he's got an album that he did the listening, the album listening, but the album itself is going to be out. I think December 7th.
I love this vibe, because this year Burna Boy of Nigeria has kept the flames of, Afrobeat really high in the world. It follows in great measure the paths of Manifest, who even though he's a rapper tends to mix a lot of his sound with many of the things that Walasi is doing currently. And I know that alongside him, Wiyala, who is already out there, we can get great artists who will be blazing the trail for Ghana.
If you're a lover of music like we are, if you love good live band music, real African vibes, then you enjoy the session with Walasi after there. But first, let's talk about our relationship segment. It's our Friday relationship, and it's titled Dear AM. That's the segment where you write to us if you have any relationship related issues. You write to us, and in the past weeks we've received many letters. We try to zero in on one every Friday and try to get the appropriate help. Today we've got our letter roll, and tell us where it's coming from.
Yeah, and the letter today is coming from Mori, and Quame is a resident there. But coincidentally, if you're called Quame and you live at Mori, which is close to Cape Coast, before then you would have seen the Yamransa Junction. Please, it's not related to you, coincidentally, because this is what we do. When you send in the letters, we say that don't use your own name or where you're sending the message from or the letter from. If you did, we'll still have to change it for you. So that's what we did for this one.
All right, so here's our letter today.
AM. My wife lied to me and I am finding it difficult to forgive her. We have two boys, 12 and 9. The 9-year-old had been frequently ill and I didn't understand why. So I asked that we changed hospitals to see if things will get better. The new doctor asked us to check his genotype. Dear AM, it was there I realized my 9-year-old son is SS. I was shocked, so I asked for answers because I am AS and I've always known my wife to be AA. In my despair, my wife said she had to confess. That was when she told me she had connived with a doctor who did the test before marriage to change her genotype to AA so we could marry. Dear AM, at the initial stages of our marriage, my wife used to fall ill frequently, but I never thought she could be SS. I've been hurt since then and at my wit's end. Quame, Mori.
This letter breaks my heart.
Yeah, I think at the foundation of all this is related virtues of trust and confidentiality, friendship, and ultimately the bond of marital union that it seems to have been broken, because then it was what was holding it all together at the beginning. And that is why it is always important that you have to open up to say, these are the things I feel are related to me, so that if the other partner is interested, they make the decisions, because marriage is for a long term.
Yeah.
Or of course, we know on the side, medical research has advanced so much that those who have sickle cell also have certain remediations as far as treatment is concerned.
Yeah.
But at the foundation of all this is the fact that he feels that he's been betrayed. He also feels that the trust that he had for the wife now has been torn apart or blown away, and ultimately a decision would have to be made. But we also do know that he's in it.
Yeah, yeah. So how do you move from where you are? But it takes me back to before I got married.
Okay.
Because the church had the requirements, and so you needed to do the necessary checks.
Which church was that?
ICGC Christ Temple.
I see Jesse for.
And I remember us going to Kolibu, and we have, when I say us,
You and
my
your
husband
partner,
and myself,
okay.
and we have like many friends there, but it was a process. It was a procedure that we had to go through. So for the first time, we had a conversation as to what it would be, because my husband is AS. So the conversation was, okay, then we can't move on. We can't definitely progress with this relationship. I mean, it was like, it's a conversation that you're afraid to have. You're afraid to think about. So we can't do it, if it turns out, in terms of the genotype, like if it turns
That's
out
for somebody who hasn't done it before.
Exactly. So that's like a really scary moment. And I kind of understand why somebody would want to think about manipulating the result. You see what I mean?
Yes,
because,
I know.
Because what it means is, if you're AS and I'm SS, the fear is we could have a child that is SS.
Yes.
Which means the child has
full-blown sickle
cell. And we know the condition and what it takes if you have a child like that, or if you're a person living with sickle cell. But over the period, we've also talked about it even on the AM show, the condition itself. And we've had parents and people who are going through it who say, I didn't know. If I had known, because it's not something that you should encourage, because you have a child that from the very beginning, and so you are thinking at this point, when you are making the decision of, let me manipulate so that I can get married, you're thinking about yourself, you're thinking about the marriage, you're thinking about your happiness, but you're not thinking about the future children that will come out of the marriage, and the fact that they have to live with this condition for the rest of their lives.
Yes. Yeah. Because bordering all this is a related issue of choices. So you have to make a choice, but the choice could be properly made if you have the right ingredients.
If you bring everything on the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've known a couple. I know a friend who said the sister and the husband, they made a choice.
So they knew?
Yeah. So they have their children.
Knew the status, and they decided.
Yeah. That makes it bearable.
Yeah.
Because what sickle cell does, if you don't have available medical treatment immediately, like the way we have in our structure, then it makes it hard for the relationship, because it puts a lot of stress on the relationship.
It's also a very expensive condition. So finances and everything. Yeah. Because it means
even for the finances, not as debilitating as maybe a cancer or something of the sort. But it also means consistently you have to be spending some money on medical treatment.
Yeah.
And then also your time. You always have to be at the hospital.
And you must also know what to do in terms of
how to care.
Yeah. Exactly.
So if those variables were available, then the choices could be made easier.
It would have been easier for Quame, because then Quame would have said, well, I knew it, and
I still went. And that makes it bearable. And then this letter perhaps would have been toned differently.
And the doctor, I started from the premise, because, a doctor in the position like that, irrespective of friendship or familiarity, you have to do the right thing. I think the doctor breached the code. And maybe towards the end we'll have something to say. I think it can take
and I think that the doctor also needed to have thought about the health of both of them, that is the would-be couple, and ultimately the offsprings that they would have. The chances was there could have been a percentage of them also having children who were not blighted this way.
Yeah.
But ultimately, once they've come to a head on this, it means that a decision has to be made. Look, Quame has been married for some time now, has discovered after exactly that a 9-year-old I had has sickle cell, and ultimately it also means that I can't have any more children without any caution. If I want to have, I would know these are the chances that I have. But you have a commitment to the relationship, and I think that for the greater good supersedes every other difficulty you may envisage.
Okay. Hold your thought there.
So you have to look at the positive side, I believe.
Just hold it there. Let's try and see if we can learn how couples have been able to go around this issue. We want to speak to a very experienced person, Diana Juma Bedu is a hematology nurse specialist who's seen a lot of people come through with the condition, parents and children. And Auntie Dinah, good morning to you. Thank you for your time. If you can hear me.
Good morning to you.
Thank you for agreeing to speak to us on this letter that we received. First of all, have you read the letter?
No.
Okay. So this is a gentleman who wrote a letter to us on our relationship segment about his wife who kept the fact that their 9-year-old, their second child, had the sickle cell disease, kept it away from him because in the first place he didn't even know that she was SS. He was AS. And she apparently got a doctor to manipulate the results when they did the test and the checks. And so he had always thought she was AA, but it turns out that she's SS. So they have a child who is SS, who is 9 years old. From your experience, having dealt with this situation, have you come across couples with children with the condition? Is it usually hidden, or they both are aware of the condition?
So thank you so much. So when it comes to diagnosis of sickle cell, in other parts of the world, when a child is delivered, right there, the blood sample is taken and various tests are done, including sickle cell disease. That is outside our country. That should be what should be done. But in our case, because we are not able to do the newborn screening everywhere, people tend to be diagnosed when the child maybe presents to the hospital with a problem, and as part of the child being investigated, they find out that the child has sickle cell disease. So some parents may not know at all. They may not even know their status in the first place to even know that they have a risk of having a child with sickle cell disease. Yes.
Okay. So how have they dealt with it? Because in this instance, there's an issue of trust, which is broken because the woman obviously knew that she was carrying it, but didn't communicate it. I mean, it's possible you can carry and not have a child who has a full-blown sickle cell disease, we know. But in this case, she hid it away from the husband. But I'm asking if there are experiences of couples with a situation like this.
Yes. So sickle cell disease, with this particular issue, I will not be able to speak to it like one person knowing and not telling the other person. There are times that there could be a mistake with one of them's reports, where people are mistakenly told that you are not a carrier. But later on, they have a child with sickle cell, and trying to investigate, we realize that the other partner who might have known all along that she is not a carrier is actually a carrier. And people have actually shown me results that have been given to them that they didn't have. But then later on, when we redo the test again, we realized that they were actually what? Carriers. These instances are common, but the issue of what you are discussing with me quite difficult. I might not be able to speak
different from
much.
what you usually face. Okay, so I guess that the next stage would be, how do people get around such a situation? What do you describe?
So sickle cell disease is very common here in Ghana. 15,000 children are born every year in this country with the disease. Is that okay? So once you get to know that you have a child that has sickle cell disease, you should not panic. So if you were diagnosed in a facility that they don't have services for sickle cell, the doctor will have to refer the child to a hospital where they can follow up the child. Once this is done, the parents will get the opportunity to be educated on the condition, what needs to be done, what needs not to be done. When the child is not well, where to take the child. And ultimately, this child needs to be followed up regularly in clinic to make sure that this child is healthy and be able to live a life as normal as possible. Okay, so I'll say parents should not panic. There is help now. We have a lot of things that we do to reduce the impact of the disease, but then they have to avail themselves to be able to be taught and be ready to accept and move on. It is not a death sentence.
But in this case, where the child is already 9 years, is it too late for a parent to catch up in terms of the care?
No. So we have children who have been diagnosed by the age of 15. That is when somebody actually saw them and realized. So it's not late. If where the child was diagnosed, they don't have a sickle cell clinic, I will say that the doctor seeing them will have to refer the child to a hospital where the child can be seen and followed by some people who have expertise in managing sickle cell disease. It's not too late.
Okay.
The child can have every follow-up that needs to be done. The parents will be talked to.
Why do you think there's that fear when one discovers that their child
So you realize
has
that
it?
there's a lot of stigma associated with sickle cell disease. So people think it's a death sentence. I mean, all the people I know, all that I've heard about it is negative. They will not live long. I can bet you, if you come forward and you hear us talk to you, you see other people who have lived with the disease and have become big people in future, you realize that, oh, this can be managed. All I need is to get knowledge on it. It's the stigma and misconceptions that people have about the disease.
Auntie Dinah, thank you very much for your time this morning on this conversation. She's a hematology nurse specialist, telling us, this is like a medical perspective in terms of other, parents, other families with children with the condition. Because, when I first read it, I thought, okay, the fear is coming from if she was if she was SS, right? And she didn't have a child with SS, would it have been an issue?
It wouldn't have been an issue. But it is an issue because they have a child who has not only the traits, but is full-blown, ultimately. And once that is the case, it's a decision point that they've reached. But the overall or the arching argument that we can make is that it's a marital relationship. And marital relationships, if they went through courtship, will tell them that they are going to have some positive or negative challenges along the way. Now, ultimately, they have to get to the point where you have to look at the overall picture. I have a woman I am married to, and through that relationship, we have children. And my responsibility is to these two, the marriage itself, even if not the lady, the children as well. And this one, I will add the lady, who is the wife, 3 of them. And it's not a hard decision for him to make.
It's not? It's not hard?
No.
You're speaking as a man?
Yeah, it's not a hard decision for him. I'm speaking as a father, and it's not a hard decision for him to make. Because really, when you have children, you become very soft and you become emotional towards your children, and that should be the main guiding value or virtue for you to make any decision at all. Yes.
Let's speak to Robert, who's joining us from Kanishi. Robert, good morning. Thank you for calling.
Good morning, Mama V. How are you?
Oh, very well, thank you. Yourself?
And my good friend Roland. How are you too?
Thank you, Roberto.
Yeah. You see, the point is this, that sometimes we put fear into people that SS is scary. For instance, this morning you people were saying that it's expensive to live with it, it's expensive to live. But you see, I'm over 45 years. I'm SS. Okay? Over 45 years, there's nothing expensive about it. I have 2 children. I have 3 children. We've married for 15 years. And so the point is that we should allay the fear from people. But whenever we say people have access, and then there's a problem with it, expensive, and I think that is why this lady refused to tell the husband. Because it's expensive and sometimes the man cannot live with it and do this. So let's try as much as. In fact, I was happy the way the nurse earlier spoke about the whole thing. Now look here, it's not something that is very. 60,000 children, that's what she said, 60,000 children born with SS every year. And 60,000 children, they are all living.
Yeah.
And
so, Robert,
I'm over 45 years now. And we are married.
Okay.
Our children also are there. So let's encourage people that it's not like a deadly disease.
Great. Robert, I appreciate the fact that you have a good background to this conversation. So if you don't mind, if I can ask you a few questions. Did you both know that you were a carrier before you got married?
Yes, because
Okay.
our counselor made us to, do the test. So we were all aware. Both of us were aware.
Okay. So how because you say you're 45 and everything is fine.
Yeah.
How has your life been really?
In fact, let me tell you the reality. The reality is this, and you might take it or not. I believe that I have some healer somewhere who is my Jesus Christ. That's what I'm saying, that you can take it or not. The reality is this, that this person who is called Jesus has died for me and has healed me already. And with this background, that is why I've been able to live. And I can tell you, for over so many years, I've not been to the hospital. And I'm healthy, unless I disclose my health status to you before you know.
Okay.
So that is it. That's the reality. People say, oh, they're human, but I'm saying that there's a healer somewhere.
Okay.
So
Directly, as somebody with the experience, can you speak to Quame? What do you think he should be doing? Where should he be focusing right now?
Okay. Now, Quame should relax. Quame should relax. I believe, in fact, the doctor, as for the doctor, he here for doing that. But you should forget about it. This is your child, your own child. So forget about the genotype of your child. Make sure that you hold the child. Let that love go to the child. If you don't know, this child can grow to become a very great person. But if you try to, shun this child, or hate the child because the mother lied to you, if you don't take care, the child will not live long. But so the Kwame should make sure that it develops some love for the child, and that will make it.
Okay. All right, Robert, thank you very much for sharing from a personal place this morning. We really appreciate it. Inusa is in Bumpugu. Inusa, good morning.
Good morning, Mama.
Good morning, Inusa.
I'm fine. I think the guy is having no issue at all.
Okay. No, we can hear you, Inusa.
Yeah,
why do you think this is not a big deal?
The little line, sickle cell is like any normal disease. Is he saying that if he was the one having that sickness, he will kill himself? Sickness is normal. HIV, any other sickness that you are being affected is normal. Just forgive the person. Have the love for your kids.
Okay.
Show parenting to them. It's normal. Me, I'm not having one. I wanted to marry a lady who was having a bite because she was saying she's having those things. I advised even though the relationship didn't work, but it was not because of that.
Okay.
I am personally, if somebody is sick, you don't use the sickness as a basis, not doing that. Even it's the time you need the person to show love more. That yes, it's just a normal sickness that you can be affected.
Okay.
You just have it, and that's all. You help the person to heal. Even you're counseling or talking to the person, everything more the person to live long life. So I don't see it as an issue, unless maybe he's having a different motive than the sickle cell issue, or the lady lies. Then I don't see that as even a basis for not to forgive the person. So you should better find different reasons and show the children love and care.
All right. Okay, Inosa, thank you very much. You make it really simple. We really appreciate it. Pakwesi is calling from Odoko Buzia. Pakwesi, Roland will speak to you.
Yeah, Pakwesi, good morning.
Pakwesi from Odoko.
Please, your contribution.
Buzia.
Just go ahead.
Yes. You see, the issue has to do with trust, not necessarily the child with the SS. You know, sometimes when you are getting married and we go through all these things and you are not told the truth, it becomes an issue later. An example is, we don't know the guy's financial status. If things are not working for him, he may not reject his child, but the trust to continue with his wife becomes an issue. And I think we should
we've just heard from Robert, who's been living. We've just heard from Robert, who's a career, who says there's nothing about cost to it.
But if the child has a crisis at home and he must be transported to the hospital, if the guy doesn't have his own form of movement, like a private car, it's a cost.
It's a commercial car.
Well,
Yes.
but you can relate that to, and this is not to, pull this conversation, but you can relate that to any of us being at home and you can fall ill or whatever it is.
Irrespective of whether you have a car or not.
And you still have to go to the hospital.
Yes. That's why I earlier on said it has gotten nothing to do with the child, but it has to do with the trust the woman lied. So the foundation itself has cracks in it.
Okay. So what do you think Quame should do?
Come again.
What do you think Quame should do?
If he's a Christian, he should believe in his God. And if not a Christian, we all believe in a God. So he should believe in God and trust that God will touch his heart so that he will be able to forge on and move on with the marriage. Okay. Because if he should call for a divorce or separation, his children will be affected. And he should rather be seeking the interest of his children and not his or the wife.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
Thank you too, Pakwesi.
Oh.
Roland, we've got Abraham from Cape Coast.
Abraham from Cape Coast. Abraham, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Please contribute to the discussion.
Yeah, I've been listening. I'm a nurse, and I've seen people with this condition. There are some of them, they still live good lives, and others, they face hell. So I think one thing we might lose focus of is we have individuals and how their system react to certain situations with these conditions. Robert mentioned that he's been good for so many years without necessarily going to the hospital. Yes, that is true. That works for a lot of people. But in the same way, there are other people who also go through hell by encountering these disease conditions.
So your point is what?
So the issue is, Quame, if you actually listen to statement, what I think is concerned is not just the condition, but the deception on the part of the lady. So in that angle, I will advise that he seeks for counseling. So they identify how best they can deal with aspects of
the relationship, because it looks like trust has been broken.
Exactly. So with the condition, yes, we have some social support systems, especially at the hospitals. We have people with similar conditions. Sometimes getting in touch with such groups, it can be of help to one another. But again, let us remember that each and everyone's body reacts differently. So yes, people may have good health, but others, I know of a family of 3 children, and every month, one of them, almost every month, the baby comes on admission. And anytime he comes, he must be transfused with blood. So do you think such a family will be happy? No. So I think Quame has a big issue at hand. Let us not make it seem it is nothing. Yes, it's true. He may find it easy. On the other hand, depending on the situation, it may be difficult for the person. So I think we need counseling, and then, if possible, introduce to the self-help groups. Conditions, so that it can be of help to one another.
Okay, listen, please don't hang up, Abraham. Let's take your number. Let the producer take your number so that if he agrees to getting another parent, in terms of support system, you can connect to us. So, Abraham, thank you very much, and give us a contact number so we can reach you after the conversation.
All right. Your neighbor is also on the line. Lawrence, you're also calling from Cape Coast.
You see, we all believe in God, and you see, God gave us brains. With this issue of sickle cell thing, I mean, I know friends. I have a friend who lost the son. The son had 2 master's degrees, and then because of this sickle cell thing, the guy just died. You see, so we have common sense. We are giving brain. All these and medical situations suggest that these 2 things. I mean, look at the pains the child will go through, even if you have all the means. And I tell you, this thing, the money involved, I have 2 examples to give. The money involved is not that easy. So, yes, we all believe in God, but at least certain things, at times we should let our common sense also.
But Lawrence, you don't have the condition. You're not living with it.
No, I'm not living with it. But I have 2 examples.
Okay.
And you see, the whole thing is, the parents might not even be the problem, but the kids.
Okay, but I think what you're doing is you're generalizing. As we've heard, there are people who may have it, but not have the same in terms of crisis as other people may have.
Yeah, I am talking from the experience that I have.
That you have, okay, sure.
And with these two examples, I mean, when the crisis starts, I mean, the children, the pains they go through, especially during this cold weathers and all those things, the pains they go through. And you see, my friend, I lost a friend who has 2 master's degree because of this situation.
Okay, so what should Quame do?
Well, I think Kwame's issue, he's already in it. So, I mean, he should see a psychologist and then then at least live with it. Because, I mean, divorcing your wife and going to take another woman, stepchild, stepmother thing also has its own issues. So you should have a place in the heart to forgive the woman and then move on. Thank you.
Lawrence, I've loved the last bit of your contribution because that's where we are. We are where we are. Not the education is good, yeah. So, but a good contribution nonetheless. But we have a last caller, Mama.
Felix from Teshinongwa. Good morning to you.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for reaching out. Let's hear you.
Correct. And it's good. I like this topic very well. As I said, Lawrence. And as I'm speaking, I have 2 family, which is my mom is an SS. My sister that comes before me is an SS. The one behind me is an SS. Both figures of patients. And now as I'm speaking, my mom is alive. She's getting doing it, even though it's only when the water becomes cold, she gets issues. Now my sister before me is a midwife. The one behind me is also a nurse in Kolebu now. It's unfortunate the doctor didn't tell me the truth. It's unfortunate the doctor didn't tell me the truth because the condition sometimes when the weather becomes rough, with that, it's unfortunate the doctor didn't pronounce the thing well to him. But it's only by faith, and when he controls, everything will be fine. Divorce is not an option because when you divorce, the child is going to be alone, and you are going to take the child from the mother, or you are going to take from them. It's going to be one person's problem. And it's going to be very serious when the cold weather comes. So I will entreat my brother to just hold on.
Okay.
And the best that you could always do.
So as a brother, what kind of support do you give your mother and then your sisters?
Well, it's just that when the weather becomes cold, you can see them in pain.
All 3?
You can see them in pain, all right, doing things, but it's just, this medicine we have to buy, painkillers and stuff that, the midwives and the nurses are okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they have their children, and Deborah has 3 kids. Ajwa also has 1 in Columbia. They are kicking all right. Just that when the weather becomes rough, you could feel for them.
Okay.
There's no way out. So I want to my brother to just hold on and help the kids because everything is controllable with God's grace.
All right. Felix, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Felix from Teshinongwa. That will be all the calls that we will take for now, but we really absolutely appreciate it. And I like the fact that people come on board with experiences because that's what the person who is also going through, that's what they need. They need to hear from people who are living it or people who know people who are living it. Let's do messages, Roland.
Okay. It says, Mama V, God is wonderful. Both my wife and I are AS. We have 3 children and all are AS. Yeah, lucky you. And the first one is now 25 years. So you're just a carrier or you have the trait.
Yeah.
Okay. Anani from Kumasi. Anani, that's the option is to make sure that, well, you take good counsel, medical counsel. Omahine Michael from Joapong. I think it is a simple thing. And what if the child was born with any other condition? Would he have attributed that to mistrust? So I think he should rather learn more about the condition and help the child. I agree with you in many respects on the subject. This one is from Charles Davu Filonzi, who says, please, nobody should blame the lady for anything or whatsoever. She genuinely loves her husband. So Quame should not complicate the situation by frustrating the woman. The couple must rather come together to salvage the situation by probably getting the services of epidemiologist. Hey, Charles, big English. Okay. Okay. So we hello. I'm Ike from Kaswa, Akwele, Newtown. Right. The man Quame should file for a divorce and take care of his children because his wife lacks trust issues. Yo. Okay. Okay. Good morning, dear AM. Even though it might be difficult, he should forgive his wife and come together and see how best they can take care of the child. That's Gifty. Giving us this message from Cape Coast. That was selfishness on the part of the woman. Trust is the basis of every relationship. Telling a lie from the word go is a big issue. She lied to the man, and that's a problem. He didn't anticipate and didn't know what his reaction would have been. There are other variables, though, I would consider. That she make me happy and complete, and that's Ernest from Quame. Well, so love and all that one. This one says the problem with genotype sickle cell is difficult. So please, a woman must inform the husband before marriage. But now they must just go find means of handling the child with the genotype. God will see them through. So the situation has arisen. So what's the solution? Yeah. Okay, this one is from Pakwesi Botwe, Brekum. Childbearing and its related complications should not be the main requirement for marriage. We're making a big deal. It's talking about what he doesn't know. Being a carrier is different from being SS. So SS is a big deal. Since the mother is also SS, then one of the children definitely will be SS again in the future, and they'll bring that forth. That's from Aben as well.
That's not definite. That's not definite.
Yeah, right? Unless the other partner. Yeah.
No, it could happen, but you can't be.
Yeah.
Probably.
So SS, you have to get a partner.
You can have SS. You can have AS.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Good.
Okay.
You've got to your medical studies all on the challenge.
Do you have some more messages to share?
Yeah, I have a couple, many of them. Should I continue?
Please do.
Okay, so we'll do a few. Desmond Kojoan Ponsa, medical laboratory scientist, Anglo Gold Health Foundation of Boise. Hey, Charlie, full honest. And so we start. And please ask Quame, did a doctor do the test or a lab scientist did the test? But a doctor read a different result or lied about the result. Or the lab scientist connived with the wife and gave them a fake result to the doctor. So the test is done by the doctor, by the lab scientist. Okay, so usually with premarital screening, the lab scientist will do the test and send to the doctor for him to discuss the result with the patient. I think we need Quame to clarify issues. So what you're saying is that it's rather the connivance may have been with the lab scientist.
The person who did the original test.
Yeah.
Who took the sample.
Yeah. So the doctor will just be the conveyor belt of the message. Okay. And he's only interpreting the result.
So if it is manipulated from that
angle,
the doctor will only be reading
straight from the factory was wrong. Yeah.
Okay.
And so wholesale in Accra Central, actually.
Okay. We get that. Thank you.
So we have the last one. We have the last one from. He said, "Good morning, Moses from Oti region. The man should forgive the wife and let go, and let God reign. That child can be healed through prayer. I believe that as well. They should both come together and pray to God. There's even a drug even for that. Well, it only relieves pain.
Said it. Is he saying that in the message?
Yeah, only relieves pain.
Okay,
we don't have.
Talk to your doctor.
Even the mother can take that drug and be healed.
Okay, talk to your doctor. We're not encouraging anyone
to take any message.
And be healed. But listen, I kind of agree that there was one of the messages that you read which said the woman is coming from a place of love, because you only do that when you and when we started the conversation, remember I said
when you're infatuated with love.
Yeah, but you know, when you really want the man, when you really want the woman, and if this is
you go to that
if this is going to prevent us from being together, then I want to do something about it. So you know,
I agree with you.
Just a lot of advice coming on board, but it is you, Quame, who is in it.
Yeah.
But I think what Roland said, I want to relate. Roland spoke as a father and said that this is something that you can live with. You are here. Get over it and love your child. That's your job.
Definitely. You have no business.
All right, we asked, was it Lawrence from Cape Coast that, no, it wasn't Lawrence, was
Lawrence
else?
was a nurse, and then there was Abraham also from
Abraham,
Cape Coast.
okay, so we asked one person for some support. We're going to pass it on to you, Quame, so that you can also reach out to other parents who find themselves in this situation. But want to encourage you, if you want us to deal with your letter the next time, kindly write to us, info@myjoyonline.com, info@myjoyonline.com. We receive many letters through info@myjoyonline.com, so you can also add yours, and then who knows, next time we'll be reading your letter, anything bordering on relationship. All right, so that's it for the segment. When we come back, we've been talking about Wolasi all morning with the Senko Band. It's live here on the AM show. You don't want to miss any bit of it, so stay with us.